compliments. Whoa. Because you ain't wearing one of these.
This is exactly what I've been waiting for.
Hey friends, Ash here, welcome back to Gents. Hope you're well. Not all clone fragrances are created equally when it comes to complementation. So to help with that, here are 10 that will help with complementation. Kicking things off with this weirdo, Dunescape. This is by Armaf. You may be thinking to yourself, well, what's weird about Armaf? What's weird about Dunescape? I mean, in terms of how the fragrance smells, nothing. It's not weird at all. It's just me kind of funny that it's named Dunescape, comes with an actual scape of dunes inside of the cap, an actual sandbox in there. You could probably put a couple of ants in there and have like a little ant hill going on. But yeah, Dunescape name, Dunescape cap, deep, rich coloration of the fragrance itself, and then you spray it on, and it smells like YSLY had a baby with Afternoon Swim. Now bros, I don't know if it's just me, but when I think about deserts, when I think about scapes of dune, I'm not thinking Y or swimming in the afternoon. But that's exactly what this is. So there's the weird part. Here's the good part. If you're after compliments, the Y line of fragrances is one of the best in the entire world. Throw into that the citrus, the sweetness, the extra freshness from Afternoon Swim. Certified killer. So if you should be perusing a fragrance store online or inside of a Perfumania or something that carries Armaf and you see this right here, understand it's not gonna be a deserty, warm, spicy beast. Instead, it's gonna be a mixture of freshness and sweetness that drives people crazy. In a good way, like not a psychopathic way. But perhaps that is not your vibe and you're looking for something that has a little more year-round usability. May I interest you in a Vanguard in this trying time? This is from Maison Asrar, and this right here smells similar to Absolute Ventus. Year-round? Oh, yeah, easy. In fact, wearing this fragrance is basically just playing the fragrance game on easy mode, because you get something that you can use literally year-round, daytime or evening, great performance, huge compliment factor, and it doesn't smell exactly like Absolute Ventus. To me, when I first spray this one on, it almost tricks me with like a blockade touch, which makes sense because that fragrance also, you know, is pretty similar to a Ventus in general. So maybe it actually just does remind me of Absolute Ventus and not blockade at all. Nah, it's got a little bit. It has that fantastic mixture of fruity sweetness and woodiness here. The quality, really well done. And this one popped up at JOMASHOP, which is where I scooped my bottle from. And I know that there are a ton of Absolute Ventus style scents out there, so you may be tempted to just kind of write this off, but for me, absolutely worth it. Smells amazing. And of course the wife, huge fan of Ventus in all its shapes and forms, so when she smelled it, resounding thumbs up. Resounding thumbs up. As if she smelled it and just went, it's not exactly what happened, but you know what I'm saying. Now this next one comes with a caveat. It's from Mykonos and it's Sorrento. You'll see the bottle itself actually just has the name of the house on the front, and then the name of the fragrance is on a sticker on the bottom with the batch code, and it is an extrait de parfum. This is another one that I got from JOMASHOP. They had maybe 3 or 4 from this house. Now this one smells like vibrato, which means it's also gonna remind you potentially of Bulgari's Tiger. But there's one big thing that you need to know about this fragrance. It is very fizzy, kind of like gingery, citrusy off the top. It's green leaning, which makes sense because the bottle has kind of a greenish hue to it, and the box is also green. But yeah, man, you spray this on the tester strip as soon as you get it in, it is almost overwhelming the way that it hits. Fizzy herbal green off the tester strip when you first get this in, first spray this on. Now, if you let it age a little bit, it does absolutely get better. And to me, it smells better off skin than off a tester strip. Like, not close, much better off skin. As I said before, it's an extrait de parfum, so for a fresh type fragrance, it sticks, and it sticks for a while. Actually, if you spray your skin decently, you'll get like a little Martin sheen going on your skin right there. Yeah, a little Charlie sheen. You'll be able to see the fragrance right where you sprayed it. And depending on how much you spray, it can even get like a stick to it because again, it's there for the long haul. Now as it dries, that little bit of a green facet, that herbal essence that it has, that starts to fade down. The citrus comes out much stronger at that point, more clearly, and has a nice sweet aspect to it as well. And then it smells awesome. But just be aware, guys, if you get this in, you blast it on a strip first thing, you are probably gonna think to yourself, that that ain't vibrato. You're gonna have to let it chill, you're gonna have to let it sit, and off skin, it is much better. Once it settles though, nice. Nice. This next one is called Chill Spectrum. Chill Spectrum. Nice. This is an eau de parfum 100 ml size, and you probably can't tell by taking a look at this bottle, but this is a Pacific Chill fragrance. So I guess actually the chill in the name gives that away. But yeah, presentation-wise, it definitely has nothing in common with the LV. And this one is from the perfume box, which by the way, if you shop at the perfume box, use this code to save yourself some money. I use it every single time I buy something, so you should too. And then I also have all these other codes that you can use to save yourself money across a multitude of different discounters and fragrance web stores. So use those codes, save yourself a little extra money. Now, as I said, this smells similar to Pacific Chill. It's gonna give you that tropical sweetness, really nice atomizer as well, as you just saw. It has kind of a candied, sweet aspect to it. A touch of florals along the edges is how it comes across to me as well. Extremely well done, attention grabbing, perfect for spring and summer, also early fall. And it's kind of a similar deal with this one over here with the Absolute Aventus alternative, because you think to yourself, well, there's already a bunch of them, which that's true. But what it does feel like is happening as more of these come out is that these brands are starting to like hone in on what makes it actually good. And Chill Spectrum does come across as one of the better ones out there if you're looking for a Pacific Chill alternative on the cheap. Rayhaan up next with Elixir, which is of course Le Male Elixir. Had a lot of ones over here that are more spring, summer. This one of course more fall, winter, just like the Jean Paul Gaultier. It smells even more different after you've smelled all these freshies and then kind of come to this one because it is honeyed, it's sweet, it's warm, it's decadent. So you're gonna get here vanilla, lavender, and mint. Those of course tie it in with the original Le Male. Then you also have bergamot, tonka, and benzoin as far as the notes that are inside of this one right here. From discounters, this one is really affordable. If you look around a little bit, you can find it for amazing prices. Longevity is great, sticks on your skin for a very long time. Projection is solid, maybe not insane, but definitely not something that you'll complain about. And during fall, winter, especially the evenings, this stuff will get you noticed, which is because of course, just the Le Male will get you noticed. And that's one of the more popular men's fragrances out there right now. Check this one out. It's called Khulood. This is from Falconee. Some of their fragrances are kind of a pain in the butt to find, if I'm honest, because I was looking for a particular one and I couldn't really find it. But I settled on a few other ones. I added like 5 to my cart. And we'll talk about some of the other ones later because some are good, some are not good. This one is pretty solid. It has a heavy helmet cap. You gotta love that. Nice. And then the scent is very reminiscent of something that is quite popular that we have talked about a little bit already. So this is supposed to smell similar to Aventus, specifically the anniversary edition. You guys remember that, right? The anniversary edition. I think when that came out, I called it a cash grab, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, the anniversary edition of Aventus. And this does have Aventus vibes to it, but with kind of a twist, and it's an interesting one. So it's gonna hit you with that Aventus style, right? But it also has this kind of, like holiday season twist to it. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It has this spiciness, but the way that it hits with this sort of fall time sweetness to it, it gives it like Aventus with a holiday twist vibes. I'm not sure exactly where I was trying to spray that. And I was like, well, do I turn my hand? Whatever. So I just sprayed the top of my forearm. Cool. Yeah, Aventus with a very slight holiday season twist and sort of a leather aspect in there as well. That's kind of a very condensed version of how it comes across. So Aventus with a little bit of a twist-a-rooney to it. Worth checking out if you want something a little bit different than all the more popular ones out there. Though of course you absolutely cannot go wrong with one of these 63 Club de Nuit fragrances by Armaf. Those do great. Of course there are also some Afnan Supremacy fragrances like Collector's Edition, which is Absolute Aventus, or Supremacy Not Only Intense. That one is really good as well. There are a bunch of Aventus type things out there is what I'm saying. So you could go with one of those and you'll do just as well, but if you want a little twist, check that out. The classic 9 p.m. Afnan. This is one of the most popular clones ever. You know, it's one of the probably most owned clone fragrances outside of Club de Nuit Intense Man. And maybe, you know, Assad, Liquid Brune, and Camera. Like this is right there with those. It is, of course, Ultramall by Jean Paul Gaultier. So it's gonna give you that that fresh and sweet combination. A lot of people for a while kind of pigeonholed that as a club fragrance. So you wear it when you go to the club and that's it. That's the only thing it's good for. Which is of course not true. It works in fall, works in winter, works in spring, daytime or evening. And this stuff right here you can get a lot of times for about 20 bucks, sometimes even less. So not only is it one of the most popular out there and one of the best compliment pulling fragrances out there, which it absolutely is, and this one you can get a lot of times for under 20 bucks. So not only is it one of the more affordable ones, it's one of the more popular ones, one of the more successful ones if you're after compliments, because it will absolutely pull those. And on top of all of that, it lasts a long time too, which is one of the reasons it sells so well. And also one of the reasons it kicked off the entire 9 p.m. line, which continues with new flankers to this day. Quality on this is really good. It's settling nicely on the skin. Let's go mad cheap with this next one. Check that out. Otis Spice by, of course, Mark and Victor. And this is Extreme, or the Extreme version. It's the Extreme Mark and Victor. It looks nothing like Victor and Rolf Spice Bomb Extreme. I don't know what you guys are talking about. So yeah, obviously a Spice Bomb Extreme clone. Basically looks like they took Spice Bomb and smushed it, right? They kind of flattened it out a little bit. I dropped my tester strip. And this one is from Fragrance World, which nowadays is more well known for their French Avenue fragrances. It's not gonna hit quite as hard as Spice Bomb Extreme. That one is really, really strong. And it doesn't help that the atomizer, as you just saw, is not the best. Nowadays, most clone fragrances somehow have atomizers better than more expensive niche and designer scents, but that does not carry over to this. Now it's gonna give you a very similar scent profile to Spice Bomb Extreme, so obviously spices. Also vanilla, a little bit of woodiness in there. Comes across absolutely like a holiday type of fragrance. Fall, winter, New Year's, you know, that time frame, this stuff is perfect. So if you wanna get Spice Bomb, but you don't wanna pay Spice Bomb prices, you can get this one by, of course, Mark and Victor. They're good guys, Mark and Victor. You can trust those guys, I guess. I really don't know. I will say the holiday-esque, very faint twist that this one has goes away super fast. That light leathery aspect does not though. So I talked about Fragrance World and I mentioned French Avenue, so we gotta put in a French Avenue. How about this one right here, Vulcan. This guy is God of Fire. Yes, very similar to that scent. Which God of Fire, if that was not the most cloned fragrance of the past year, it was really close. Every single brand was coming out with a God of Fire alternative. Some were coming out with multiple. That's how you know it was successful. Whew. This stuff is an attention commander, not even magnet commander. It has mango off the top, nicely done, sugary, tropical, fresh, clean, exquisite. As it dries down, a nice bit of woodiness comes in there. Ladies like this just as much as men as far as wearing it, and they will steal it from you. So watch out. It's like video game style. If they see this, it's unattended, it might disappear. And to me, this has always been one of the better God of Fire alternatives because it's really nicely balanced. Some lean more on the woody side, some lean more on the mango side. This one kind of does both. And last but not least, a Lattafa Vintage Radio. Now you will notice that I did not put in some of the most obvious ones. I mentioned them already, but another quick shout out. Camera by Lattafa, pretty much any of those. Liquid Brune by French Avenue. Club de Nuit Intense by Armaf. Those are pretty much some of the biggest. They will absolutely work wonders. Now back to Vintage Radio. The opening, pretty sweet. Whew, really sweet. Syrupy even. Plum, lavender, sage, bergamot, and Palo Santo as it dries down smells similar to Inicio's Paragon. It's another one where that mixture of freshness and sweetness works together exquisitely well. Women go crazy for this stuff. It projects really nicely. The longevity is fantastic. Fall, winter, and spring is when this one is best, mainly because during summer, even though it has some fresh aspects to it, it has that syrupy sweetness, and again, it's got pretty good push. So if you spray it on heavily when it's really hot outside, that is the type of fragrance that can cause headaches, both to you and people around you. Outside of that though, that stuff is killer. So there we go, some newer ones, some not as new ones. If you're after attention, these are some of the best ones you can get. I wanna thank you guys for hanging with me here until the end. All you guys that stay till the end, you are the MVPs, the VIPs. Stay safe out there, guys. Take care of yourselves. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.